Lendio versus Fundera, and the best online marketplace and financial resource for funding is. Hi, this is Michael with Viral Funding Solutions. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a comprehensive look, comparison, a contrast between these two funding platforms, the amount of resources you can get through them, what their actual end goal is, if they are legitimate, and if so, are they the best place to turn to? So let me answer this question. Are they both legitimate? Yes, they are. However, that doesn't necessarily mean they are the best sources of funding for you to turn to ultimately get the best strategic approach and partnership, as well as a roadmap on top of what you should do to take full advantage of continuing to help build your business, grow it, expand it, and even get out of a tight pinch. And before I move into any of this, as you see on the share screen here, and I also have a document, excuse me, a post that I'm going to be walking you through that I already created that I'll link to you down below in the description in case you want to see the blog post version. And I made a separate video on Lendio that you can check out as well down below. And if there's one on Fundera there too, but in time it may be. So what you would like to know is, who is this person speaking to you? I'm a business loan broker expert. I've been doing this for a long time. I understand different clients' needs of all industries, of all backgrounds, what exactly you're applying these funds for, how much time do you need, are you time sensitive, what exact rates you were looking for, what is the exact expectation coming into all of this. So I give you a proper education on how to get the right type of business funding of all services I work with, of direct lenders, indirect lenders with brokerages, but I have those direct lender partner relationships already. But it is in a lot of ways best to do it this way. And what's the exact roadmap in 3 months, 4 months, and a year plus time? If you don't want to fumble, then I'm the correct person to work with. And I'll leave for you a questionnaire form down below in the description so you can get in touch with, fill it out, and I'll be able to analyze, evaluate it, give you your proper options. Now, I know I went a little bit farther, but it's very important you understand that. And these two sources may not be the best in your interest, and you'll save yourself a lot of headaches, a lot of time. So your one-stop shop for business finances, one application to funding options, and one tool to get your finances in check. So Lendio is an online marketplace that will connect you to lenders for funding, for the proper solution, the proper service. And the way they operate, in a similar sense, you could say Fundera is, they're more of a resource, not exactly 100% online marketplace related. But with ones like Lendio and a few others that you probably come across, they have a lot of lenders. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best ones for you. Like today, I spoke to a client of mine that had less than desirable credit, but had the revenue there, and looking at getting them northwood of 200,000 or a northwood of 100K. And as opposed to them going somewhere else, receiving a much lower offer, probably not what they wanted in terms of a term or a rate. Maybe they didn't have much wiggle room there, but it was better over here looked at from this tier of a lender, a C tier, B tier, A tier, etc. So you have to get a better understanding of that. And Lendio won't always give you that clear picture. I'm not saying they don't partner with the best lenders. There are quite a few, but when it comes to getting the right partnership and the right roadmap, it's not always as clear. And you may just be doing a whole lot of things you shouldn't be doing. So you have to be careful of that. And I'll speak more on the downsides later on in this video, but let's continue more here. CNBC, what used to take months is now being accomplished in weeks. Entrepreneur says Lendio is a simple process for business owners. Forbes, Lendio introduces business owners to active lenders. Customer reviews, we'll be circling back to this, but you can see 5 stars there on Trustpilot. And take that with caution. So that's 4.8 out of 5 based on over 19,000 reviews and growing. A lot of this can be from people who maybe they're marketing the company. Second, it could be that this was their very, very last option and this is who they turned to, or they started with them in the beginning and it happened okay. But there's a lot of hey, this can be a little bit misleading. You have to be careful of this. You might not be wanting to get a lot of phone calls, text messages, emails, getting that time and time again, day in and day out. So you have to be careful with some of these online marketplaces. And again, you have lenders who are quote unquote bidding with these contracts to be a part of the Lendio platform so they can have more exposure because Lendio already has that brand built into it. So that's what you have to keep your eyes on. And they're not always going to be the best solution, which honestly, I wouldn't recommend them to be the first. If it was the absolute last option, I would still, but that'd be kind of like, hey, this is what we need to do in a roadmap. We need to build this out first. So apply for a business loan in just 15 minutes. Fill out one simple application. There's no fee or obligation, and it won't impact your credit score. Soft pull. Apply now. You can learn more on the right-hand side. Smart, simple small business bookkeeping solutions. They have that on top. And you can also look at other bookkeeping routes, other kind of accounting software that I'm already familiar with and that I work with, how our loan matching process works, fill out the simple application, answer just a few questions about your business to see which lending products you qualify for. We partnered with over 75 lenders, which sounds good. But like I said, are they the best? Will you have more of an in-house strategic partnership with more flexibility and perhaps lower the fees, the origination? What do you do in 6 months' time from now instead of taking another similar advance or loan or whatever it is you're doing? How do we move up from there? Or how do we get you more funding over time, less time, with better prepayment discounts, early payment discounts, and a lot more that I haven't mentioned yet. So I don't always necessarily think it is the direct way to go. So you have to be careful of that. We'll connect you with a funding specialist, compare loan officers, and then you get funded. Down here, Fueling the Dream, American Dream, excuse me, over $12 billion funded through us, 74 plus lenders, and although over here says 75, right? And then 300,000 plus loans funded. Quickly compare loan offers from multiple lenders. Find the loan type best fitted for your business, view loan types. And I'll go over to Fundera in just a moment and go through some of those similarities and differences. But not saying that going to an online marketplace is bad at all. I'm not saying that about Lendio whatsoever. What I'm saying and I'm speaking to is you might not be given the best clear picture. And then sometimes you can get automated responses. Here's an offer, but there's nothing that entails that offer, or well, this is it. Like, what do I do in 6 months? Once this, sometimes it's not as clear. You're given a system to log into and you're unsure about everything. You're still trying to compare out there and see what's best. And you can always speak with me if you already have something with Lendio. There quite possibly could be something there. And in other cases, I'll say, hey, they were right about giving you this. This is the expectation, but this is something else that's probably missing. Or this is what I would recommend if you're working with a different lender already, whether it was that you got in contact with them directly by myself or someone else or indirectly. So the online marketplaces are great as long as you work with the right ones. And I do. And I'll link you to those down below. If not, I'll link you a video too, or the questionnaire form is what I would do to get started. But now we have over here Fundera, compare multiple small business loan options at once. See your loan options. One easy application, access to SBA 7A loans, term loans, invoice factoring, and more. Get funded faster than at your bank, which is true with all these three. But one of the hottest services right now in today's market is the SBA 7A loan. And I apologize if it's a little dark. I have the HP lighting screen on. It goes in and out for some reason. So the SBA 7A is one of the hottest products, and I'm getting a lot of people funded with them, in-house, direct lenders, understanding who they should partner up with. Even if it's not an SBA loan, it's a cash advance, unsecured term loan, hybrid cash advances, merchant cash advances that are traditional equipment financing, invoice factoring, asset-based financing. I do them all, personal startup loans, business credit building. I will create to you the right roadmap and how to approach this so you're not falling into things you shouldn't be, and you're not expecting something that's not going to be there, people over promising and under delivering. But the SBA 7A loan, there's a specific product. There's a new one called a Hybrid Sba 7A loan where we can evaluate you for a combination of an unsecured term loan, a line of credit, or a cash advance. On top of the SBA, while you're getting approved for that, we give you bridge funding if you needed it sooner. If not, we can just look at the SBA loan. But a lot of the times, it's good to look at the file and see, hey, this is what you can realistically get approved for. If you don't want it, that's okay. And then there are other ways we can go directly to the SBA 7A with multiple different lenders and see which one's the best one. Or we can just say, hey, this one lender is the way to go, and I will make sure of that, and we will go in that direction. And that one product has over 90% approval, fastest, simplest, easiest SBA process out in the market that I'll link you to down below. I already did a video on it, so make sure to check it out. Get funded faster than at your bank, shop for small business loans. So what I like about Fundera is they're a lot more resourceful. So you're gonna get a lot more in-depth information on perhaps different lenders. Maybe not everything, not even on a phone call, not even when you get in contact with somebody like myself, you will, because I have those types of relationships with the underwriters and the lenders personally and in business. So I understand how they operate. Shop for small business solutions, business loans, business credit cards, business checking accounts, payment processing. So you get a lot of resources from there. We love small business. Our job is to help small business owners make better financial decisions. Our success stories, you can see, we'll probably circle around to that later. 85,000 plus small businesses have been helped, 2.5 billion plus secured through Fundera. And they have somewhat of an approach with in-house funding as well, like I have with others in direct, but they wouldn't be necessarily the two options that I would say, hey, clients, you guys can go right here. Of course, I wouldn't say it like that. I'd say your name. I usually address you and I care about you first as a human being, second in business. Literally, that speaks a lot of volumes to what I do in my work. And so I'll say, hey, these are not the primary methods. You wouldn't want to do this. And here are the reasons why more in depth. So that's how Fundera functions in a way. It can be quote unquote not an online marketplace fully, but they're this whole resourceful hub place you can come to and get more information of. So let me turn back to this. You got to see what Fundera is about. You go to financial resource for every small business loan need and then provide advice comparison technology to help you, excuse me, as a business owner, easily identify your best financial fit products and ultimately for you to make the right lending decision and more. Basically, they're like the middleman who partnered with some of the best small business loan investors and work to find the best financial providers or lenders for you. But again, it's not always my preferred method to go into. There are, of course, other places that I would recommend over. Not to say that they are bad or anything. It's just there's a better way that I handle things and with the relationships that I've built. And if there's more access to this, maybe, but there are other strategic methods that I would handle first. So Lendio, you already know, it's a company that helps small businesses get loans of all kinds when the banks can't. They will match you with great lenders, some not so. So you have to be very careful of how you're being contacted. You don't want to have to put yourself through a lot of that and then having to go back out seeking what actually works. Similar to Fundera, they're like the middlemen in a way, except that Fundera is more of a third party connect that first connects you to a funding company like Lendio, and then you can get the lenders from there. And I made a single review post on those. Fundera is designed for and is best suited for things like the SBA 504 loans and micro loans, although Lendio isn't too far away from that. They've made those additions. There's always something changing. While Fundera is an all-around small business marketplace, they can very well help you get a personal loan for business. I can also do that outside of Fundera. There are actually some other direct lenders and indirect lenders that I work with who I would recommend first and foremost. And there's more flexibility there that be offered. So I'll leave content for that down below. I've created on personal loans and startup loans and more educational content for you guys to look at. But the whole purpose of this video too, what you should come out with it at the end is strategic partnership and relationships, having the right roadmap. And I created separate content on that for you to look at down below. So make sure to watch that if you haven't. So personal loan company you can work with, the fact that they can match you with some of the good lenders out there. But even better is they understand for some businesses, personal loans are a good funding option. If you guessed it, Lendio does not really offer that side, at least too much of it. I like to use an example of how personal business loans work. And you can use a personal loan for business. It is more credit intensive, so usually a 680 and above. Some trade lines are going to be necessary, about 5 or so. So that's something to factor in because you're putting it towards the business. But if you are applying for a personal loan instead, the length of time you've been in business probably won't matter. A loophole, perhaps. Similarly, business is that haven't built up a decent business line of credit might automatically get rejected for any type of business financing. But here come the personal loans to save your day. And they yell back at your business credit saying, "I don't need you." Lendio is best for commercial real estate loans, and they also do a whole influx amount of them, and we'll go through them. Both Fundera and Lendio offer a wide variety of lending options from term loans to accounts receivable financing and can meet many of your business needs, but Lendio offers the one business funding that Fundera truly like they can, not saying they don't because SBA 7A is considered commercial real estate, so I wouldn't say they don't anymore. At least that's changed. But you can say that Lendio was one that was on top of that a lot. So commercial real estate loans, and if you're looking for a CRE loan through the SBA 7A, perhaps a split between that and the 504, because 504 kind of can say it's underneath SBA 7A commercial real estate, and the type of properties and a few other things that we look at in terms of equipment underneath that, and a few more possibilities. Then I'll leave content for you down below. And then if you fill that questionnaire form out, I'll also send you more information. Lendio is more of a middle of the line commercial real estate marketplace full of lenders. The fact that they can give real estate investors loans up to 500,000, which isn't bad, but it's nothing large. So if you're a real estate investor looking for loans greater than that, there may be a better solutions. And I'll leave you more information down below. Created separate content on trucking companies as well, but I've funded just about any company out there: construction, medical, cannabis, retail, restaurants, staffing agencies, insurance companies, everything. And I'm very grateful for you guys to get the amount of value that I can bring you, unlike anybody else out there. I really do think that with my expertise and being in your position, how difficult it is. I remember being in this, trying to build my business from nothing in revenue. It took months, even years, to get to somewhere comfortable enough. So I know how much hard sweat and equity you put into this, as well as if you were to fund it, private investors, perhaps you put your own money running into ads and so much more. And you get to appreciate your business more and understand, okay, these are the requirements. This is actually the process of what it'll look like with the best lender. Or even if I didn't get the best lender, this is the company to go to. I shouldn't even be working with them because they won't give me something more long term. So Lendio's commercial mortgages. One thing I picked up that Lendio can give you commercial mortgages that go up to as high as $5 million with length and generous terms. But if you're looking for a commercial mortgage property through traditional real estate financing, then there are alternative methods where you can even get up to 50 million. And then there are other forms. So I'll leave more content on all that down below. How helpful is that? Plus, these commercial mortgages also have lower starting rates than Fundera's term loans, which is 4.25 to 7%. But that's prime rate now changing. And so it could be higher than 4.25%. We do see kind of a stated interest with traditional real estate financing, but prime rates today, as the time I've been making this video, it is 5.5. In September, who knows if those rates go up from 5.5 to 6.25 or so. So whether that happens or not, you have to look at what your funding details are telling you. What's your revenue? What's your time of business? Do you have this specific industry you're in? Credit score, a bunch of more things that I look at. Fundera versus Lendio funding types, SBA loans, business lines of credit, term loans, startup loans, equipment financing, invoice financing, etc. Lendio has all Fundera up as up above, plus merchant cash advances, business credit cards, commercial mortgages, business acquisition loans, and so does Fundera. In their own ways. Not are they always as comfortable, but who is to say that they don't? Fundera versus Lendio eligibility requirements. With Fundera, you need to have a minimum personal FICO score of 550, and that can change from time to time, especially on the type of product. You can't get a SBA loan expecting you to have a 550 FICO credit score. And while Lendio does not specify a minimum amount in a lot of cases, they don't tell you at all, but they do say that the borrowers with a less than perfect credit score can qualify for a business loan. So you're out there fetching for this information. Just be honest. Like, if you're going through these marketplaces, you may have to be speaking with somebody over a call. You don't want to be doing a lot of that, especially if it's going to be ongoing contact, email after email. Like I had a client today, people going behind our back, and saying that we cannot approve you through these lenders because you've already signed you didn't sign a contract, and the guy told me that, and there's clear evidence of it. So having to have a word with people that, hey, this is not the way you do things. And so I'm always on top of everything, making sure you get the best things, not my best benefits for your benefit. I want to make sure you get the best. It's not for me the money, it's the value for me. I get it, it's a business, but for me, it's making sure that I'm giving you more than honestly what I'm receiving. And if it ends up turning out into an application, great, and it goes from there, and I can really do this as an expert. Been doing this for some time. So it's not really always specified, not only Lendio, but you've probably seen it in other marketplaces like, oh, they're giving me this. It's enticing. And then they tell you to get on a call or they tell you, hey, sign up for this, set up an account, and then see they're going to give you an offer in a day to two. excuse me, they follow up, calling you, texting you like 100 times a day. Happens to me even today because I'm testing out other platforms and I'm seeing how they truly work, ones that are coming up and new. So just be careful of that. And again, there's a free 6-step pre-pro lending checklist you can pick up. But also, like I said, here's the questionnaire. It'll look like that more or less. Just fill it out very thoroughly, and you're going to get expert help from me. You're going to get a better understanding of what you could qualify for today and perhaps in the future. If you were to fix things, how would that look? Funding options overview from Fundera, 5 million max loan amount, 7% plus, or yeah, let's say plus lowest APR rates, but that fluctuates, especially with talking variable fixed and depends on the type of product or service. So when this is said, it's kind of like a generality and it's also assessing your risk. So 0+% origination closing fees, that could be a bit different since you usually see 0 to 2.5, 0 to 3, or so 0 to 3, 0 to 5%. 1-day funding depends on the product. 7 years time in business, they've been around. So take that as kind of like this marketing positioning. You know how these companies like to do this. Hey, we can get you up to 5 million. Sounds like a machine gun going off. For Lendio, 5 million max amount. So you kind of see a similarity. 4.4% lower APR rates again with the plus or minus. No origination slash closing fees. Hard to say that will be the case, especially in today's market where origination, closing fees, broker fees are all a factor. And so that's always considered. 1-day funding, similar, 15 years time in business. So they've been around much longer and how they operate is a bit different. So as you can see, there's a mix of differences and similarities across the board. And it'll come down to a few factors when you select between the two marketplaces, like what industry are you in? What type of funding loan type are you after? Can you live with the APR rates and so forth? And again, you'd want to speak to somebody like myself so you can get a better idea of the options. But you see the business lines of credits all the way to business loan acquisition. And if we clicked one here for Lendio, it would show you the amounts, loan term as low, interest rates as low as 8 to 24%, which is common, especially if we're looking at non-banking, unsecured term loans, unsecured lines of credits. There's secured line of credit you can look at, and I have specific lenders that I would go through on that. Want flexible financing, then you want to access a business line of credit. What is that? It kind of gives you information. Secured line of credit, unsecured line of credit, the recommendations, how do you get it. So why they are resourceful, which is a plus side, they don't always paint the clear picture for you. They entice you. What exactly more do I need to know? What would it look like in this scenario? Do I have a ballpark range? And what can I realistically get? So you have a billion questions that you're going to speak to. And these are all things that I can address in a much more simple, hassle-free, honestly, process. I never pressure anybody. And so this will work in your best interest at heart. And so you can see that accounting software. If I clicked here, you can explore that option, product tour, plans and pricing, accounting and bookkeeping, free small business accounting software whether you're a new or seasoned business owner. There's a lot to learn about bookkeeping, which there's a lot. You get started with these bookkeeping basics you cannot afford to ignore, which you can't right now because you need to keep them up to date with your finances. If you're the business operational guy or girl, or you're the I handle the products, the marginal costs, the marketing and advertising, but you don't understand your actual accounting, the financial side of this equation, whether you've outsourced it to somebody, which you should a lot of the times, but you should be periodically checking in with them. Let's go every other 2 weeks, every month, and not just every quarter. No, you don't want to be doing that because maybe it's a cash flow issue. Maybe it's something else you need to get sorted so you have a better understanding of what you're doing. So start with the basics to build your business, more resources down there, and then sign up for free resources. But then I'll have some other accounting software that I've done videos for. I'll link you to down below. And then you can see here with credit cards, you can see lender reviews, Cabbage, Blue Line, Funding Circle, Fundbox, which I'm associated with myself. I can do that directly. Doesn't have to be here through Fundera. But there are other ones where I'm like partner to with brokerage and they have those relationships as well. And I already had those. So it would be in your best interest to go in that direction. And there's more flexibility, more of a partnership. And I can actually get you a lot better because they know me and it's better to work that way out. So you can see that learn business loans, business lines of credit. We click this, business term loans, and they'll have information that looks somewhat like this. And I would say Fundera is more on top of giving you these kind of resource slash blog post type of content. And you can visit my site for this as well if you go to viralfundingsolutions.com. And there's a bridge between that and one of my other companies, Viral Home Based Pursuits, that you will see a lot of blog post content in as well. And it documents kind of the journey that I've been through building my businesses. And so you'll see that there, you'll see some options. Excuse me. Max loan amount up to 600K for this one. Loan term on 1 to 5 years. Interest rate 7% to 30%. Speed as fast as 1 day. So while that's attractive, they'll give you the pros and cons. That may not be the best thing to do. Credibly is one that I'm associated with myself directly and indirectly, and a few other lenders, quite a bit actually. But they may not be the best option. And I know there's another one that can help. So it wouldn't have been your best interest, and they're going to try to squeeze something in here that doesn't even work. And maybe it is the best option, but perhaps this one gives you a better interest. This one probably gives you more flexibility. That would have been the best thing to get out of in 3 months. You pay off over 50% of the balance on this, we can look at actually getting you into an SBA loan. But over here, they weren't honest about that. They weren't showing you those steps. And even if you asked it a lot of the time, they wouldn't be there to do it for you. So you have to be very careful about who you turn to. And so let me come back to this post. Similarity, loads of lenders, first and foremost. Both loan marketplaces have partnered with loads of lenders, which necessarily isn't always the best thing. I want to get quality as well as quantity, but flexibility and strategically doing this is what's most important above everything, and having a roadmap. That's what I'll design for you. Slower funding types. You can see how some of them may take a little bit longer, like the SBA loans of the world, because we know those can get dragged out a little bit. Matching you with the right offers can take more time. Remember, Fundera and Lendio are a middleman who provide you with the right lender, so their team has to gather your business details and more fine details so they can prepare you with the right lender or lenders for your specific needs, which I can do some of that. I can also do directly. Both are great. You just have to understand what your details are. And I'm like, this is going to be the best solution. This actually is the best lender. Don't go to that one. They were not giving you the best. Both offer many loan products, short-term loans all the way down to SBA loans. You can see on the screen there. Lending partner amounts. You can see Fundbox, Blue Mind, Cabbage, Funding Circle, on deck. I'm all with myself, and I have a lot more. But sometimes, like I said, it doesn't make sense for you to go directly. Even if you hear it now, you're not going to get that flexibility. And if you were to come through me, it would be a little bit different. But at the same time, this would have been the way to go. Would have been better to do it in-house like this with my team like this, built the way we have it. And I already have those relationships with them. So this is how much more time we can give you. This is the amount. This is the rate, how we can drop it. This is what we can do with an early payment discount. This is what it'll look like in 3 to 6 months from now. Boom. A lot of people come to me, I should have known that. I wish I would have known how this worked. To add on, both also have partnerships with traditional lenders, bank and credit unions, which include Chase and American Express as some. On the other hand, Lendio has different partners like Fundera, like lending clubs, Street Shares, Bank of America, although Fundera is not too off from there. And Fundera has lenders that Lendio does not, perhaps like Capital One, because you're looking at a lot of the business credit cards. So if you have a preference for lenders, then you can make the decision on which marketplace to go based off of that. But I would look more deeply as in connecting with someone like myself who can help you. Pricing, there's no application fee usually, as we saw earlier, to get started, and the overall pricing will depend on the type of loan you're after, as well as the financial health of your business. So you can't compare yours to someone else, even if they're in the same industry. You're dealing with different average daily bank balances, monthly sales, monthly revenue, highest monthly, lowest monthly, annual monthly sales, gross sales, excuse me, annual gross revenue, and if it's profitability, how much, credit, it's a lot. So you don't want to be just applying anywhere and everywhere doing the spray method, which I help a lot of people not do, and they realize it if they did it. So they will evaluate you, how well you're already doing, and their specific requirements, and go from there. But here are some of the costs you could endure: normal interest rates, effective APR, factor rates, buyback rates, total payback amount, timing of your payments, term of your loan. And another thing you will endure in cost is your energy and your time. Like I tell everybody, you're going to be going through an application. Are you going to be there every step of the way, or are you serious about this, or are you just not sure about it? You know you're going to get declined, or this isn't the best thing, but you did it anyways. Don't do that, right? We don't have that kind of energy and time. The underwriters or yourself, more importantly, to put yourself in that position. So I have other recommended programs like up to 25,000 same day instant approval, even up to 2 million and above. uncollateralized, with collateral. There are more options available. Frequently asked questions. Is Fundera better than Lendio? Not in my eyes, not in a lot of people's. So both operate under the same principles, which is to help you get your small business funding, credit cards, by acting as the middleman to the direct lenders. And you can only answer that question because your needs vary from other people reading this post and going through getting funded. So think about what your needs are thoroughly and make an educated decision about what you're really after. If not, then now, then later. But between those two, like I said, I wouldn't 100% go through them first. I have other recommended direct and indirect partnerships that are much better, I recommend. And you're going to get an overall view, specifically when you fill out that questionnaire, and I'll respond back to you. It's going to be an in-depth one. Some of you may get an even longer one. You may even have to click on the clip message to review it, but you're going to be so appreciative of it because you have everything in one place you can always refer to. You go, Michael, send me that email. I know where it is. I'm going to go locate it. If something does change, I'll let you know. But that email will have everything. You're going to say, whoa, this is very personalized and customized. What makes Fundera more unique than Lendio? Fundera can help with personal loans where Lendio, nah, I'm not going to say they can't exactly, but they can't. They can use your personal credit as a means to help you get small business funding. On the other hand, Lendio is most unique in that it can give you a merchant cash advance at lower APR rates. Not to say that the other one can't. They just have more of a connection with those, perhaps more lenders underneath them. Alternatives, in all honesty, there are better alternatives out there to Fundera and Lendio. Here are just a few of them. And some of those can be like SBA Advance, National Business Capital, Go Capital. There are an influx amount of other lenders, direct lenders that I can refer you to. But some of these are ones that I would go through. You also have credit suites. There's no true startup funding program out there for private lenders because they have to ensure they'll get their money back. And if you can't repay, you're in trouble. But there's a credit line hybrid program that I'm going to link you to down below, where it's startup, non-startup friendly, and it's just based off of credit, consumer credit bureaus, your three primary ones, and we can look at getting you financing usually at 250,000. And if you want to build business credit, link down below. So these are just some of the many. I just put some of them there, some of the best ones that I would advise, especially today, going through. And I have those partnership relationships with that I can help you. And so, and the winner is not one necessarily, just what's in the best interest for you. Look at maybe the rates, but it's less about a rate, it's more about the benefit exceeding the rate repayment. So interest rates is one thing, but your benefit has to be up here, your repayment has to be down there. Try to get a longer term if you can. If you can't, maybe you take less funding to drop the repayment. That's flexible enough. So your benefit has to exceed your repayment, even with these medium to higher rates. And if you're looking at it from this is going to give me an extra 2, 3, 4 times on my return, your revenue, your sales are going to go up. Overall, your yearly, your profitability, that's an amazing risk to take because you're going to be doubling, tripling, quadrupling your money, even just to stay afloat. But if you're struggling, we have to look at those, maybe a line of credit or a different route on top of that or by itself. So MCAs is a very common one, merchant cash advances, perhaps Lendio. But if you're looking for a hybrid with that I recommend, I'm going to link you to more information down below with revenue-based financing. So you have a better idea now of how these work. Let me go over here to Fundera. You have accounting, banking, HR and payroll, legal services. So we can come over here to POS systems. See, you have an idea. And their information is credible. I'm not saying it isn't, but you need to speak with a broker. I'm going to be very honest with you. It's not enough just to speak with the representative or a financial advisor in a lot of cases or somebody else that's a higher tier. I know a lot of what they know on top of more on what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. So it's in your best interest, even if you're looking for credit cards, I have content on that. So I'll try to link you to down below. But they do a very good job at showing you those different resources. And they have links so they could get, referral from their part. HR and payroll, legal services, like LegalZoom, Legal Shield, Legal Match, InkFile, Rocket Lawyer, quite a bit more entity types if you want to learn more about those. So I know we can spend a lot more time on this, and I said I would circle back to the reviews. So let's go over here, success stories, click that link, see the testimonials. This brewery's gamble that increased production by 130%. I mean, our customers' growth is off the charts, but we wouldn't be able to do it without Fundera, Marcus Wilson from Noble. And then you see that we have Pam here. It's amazing what a painless experience it was from Crystal, Dove Cleaning, and there's more. And then we can say the same for Lendio as well. And there's a lot of stuff underneath there of frequently asked questions. But if we come over here, customer reviews, Trustpilot, working with Bobby, well, was wonderful. Work with 2 people, but take it with a grain of salt. There are some negatives there. I'm not gonna, well, I can show you guys. But over here, you want to go through even the ones that are average and get to understand those better. And that also paints a bigger picture. Seemed like there were incentives for the funding manager to close a deal as opposed to finding a real solution for my business needs. That's what I'm speaking about. See, a lot of people go through these solutions and they end up coming out in the wrong possible way. Firstly, I'm a businessman. I started my business since the year 2015 with a huge amount of money, and also everything is going perfect. What broke me down on my business is the coming of COVID-19 pandemic. That's what makes me lose my business. I don't have enough capital to continue doing my business smoothly. Thanks. There are reasons to this why I didn't get what I wanted, but I could have been because of my own situation. But the process was fairly easy and fast. People are definitely cooperative and helpful, assisting in every way possible. So there's that. I feel like I was pressured to end up to at the end to sign. I know it was quick money, but at basically 30% interest with the fees. It was a tough decision, and they probably understood that. And sometimes you don't understand why you're getting this. And so I'm going to be communicating with you and saying, oh, there's another one. But you just have to understand. And the thing that I don't like is when you're getting pressure. And a lot of these companies will end up doing that, not just a couple of these, not even saying Fundera completely does any of that, but you will get contacted a lot of, and you want to have a great relationship with somebody like myself to can help you. So that's what I'm going to leave it at. I know I can go into a lot more. There's credit monitoring. There's the FAQ page here. This Fundera do a hard pull. There's somebody asking that. Not a lot of the times they won't. You may receive a hard inquiry if you submit a formal application to any of our lending partners. You will be notified about this over the course of filling out the application. So if we have to go to that extent, we'll usually get authorization. So we can do that. Will I be able to speak to a person? Let's go here. Yes, once your loan application has been completed at Fundera.com, you'll be assigned an in-house loan specialist. They will reach out to you via phone and email, and we'll be able to answer any questions you may have. The loan specialist will help you navigate the underwriting process with our lenders, as well as walk you through any offers you receive. So just take that with a grain of salt. I can help you with a lot of that too. I understand the underwriters I have direct connections with and the lenders as well. So there's other ways of doing this that I would recommend a lot of the time. Not saying that they don't work, but there are a lot more advantages, especially when you come through me. I've been doing this for quite a bit. What other content that I have here? It's the Hybrid Sba loan that I spoke about previously, but I'll link you to more content down below in the description. And at the end of it, what you want to have is a strategic partnership and the right roadmap. You don't want to be this individual here, or we'll call Jan. You heard me say this before. She's just struggling. She's tired. She's at the end of her day. She applied to these online marketplaces. She's speaking to perhaps a lending specialist if she even got that far. They're not painting the clear picture. There's a lot of pressure here. If she just wished she would have known all this information before she had already applied, she would have had a different frame of mind, or at least expected all this. Wouldn't have been in this thick of things. And now she's getting call after call. She tries to subscribe from all this. It doesn't end up working. It's just too much. And you don't have a roadmap. They don't paint for you a clear picture on what you can do thereafter. They don't always have the material. They don't have the services, the connections like I do. And you don't want to be in that situation. Instead, you want to win big like Lisa. You want to take time away. You want to sit out in the sun, enjoy the nice weather. You're looking at it on the beach. You're smiling at your husband next to you, and you see the calm waves just like you are inside. Outside is a reflection of you in here, and you're building and you're working your way up. You can take time away from your business, feel comfortable. Or you're here like Josh, who's just smiling and happy that he listened to somebody like myself, didn't just go through these online marketplaces, didn't just do it without getting more information, getting an understanding that there's another alternative, that this is the best way to do this for your situation, and how we move up in months' time and years' time from there. In the meantime, we can look at other things like building business credit, that credit line hybrid program. We can look at getting money out this way. And then in the meantime, while we're approving you for the, there's so much, and you don't get to hear that in some of these places and all the time. Will you be giving those options? And so find the right broker agent to strategically partner with and have the right roadmap. Education is first and foremost, which I will follow up with. Entertainment, you can get a little bit of that with my dry sense of humor at times. Follow up, I will. Feedback, it's what's most important. So if you want to work with somebody who's an expert, please understand that feedback is number one. My number one pet peeve is feedback. With individuals who come and they go, who I build a really good personal connection with and business, what I would like is understanding if you're going to give me feedback, like at a time before we get into the application or during it, at the end of it, will you be there for me as I've been there for you when I'm just going to ask you for something? I need it. And it's very pressure free, but you just went to ghost for like months on end. You were very unresponsive. And that to me shows lack of punctuality. It shows disrespect, whether you think about it that way or not. Uh, because at least any like word like no, not interested, or at this time, it's better than saying nothing. But be more specific about something that'll be more helpful. So make sure you have that feedback, feedback, feedback. Will you be there? Step three, do you need the offer? If we ever get to that stage, I can communicate to you that offer and show you everything, and I can collect documentation all before and thereafter, and so forth. So I believe that'll cover everything in this video. You got to see quite a bit. You got to understand how the platforms truly do work. And let's go through here the apply now button. It'll kind of take you through this like questionnaire type of format. You can see that there with them. And if we come over here to Fundera, see your loan options, kind of the same thing. And at the end, they'll go through there. A lot of the times you'll probably be asked for signing up for something, enter your email, this and that. So just be careful how it works. Here, if we didn't cover that, compare dozens of financial options at once. Fill out the simple app, connect with your advisor, sit back while we shop your options, compare multiple offers together, choose your best fits lending product, graduate to better options as your business grows. We're on your side. And, I'm not saying they're not a great place to go to. I would recommend them, but would they be my first option? Probably not. I'm sure there are other ones with more strategic relationships and ways of looking at it for other means and purposes. That's why it's always best to connect with somebody like myself who can show you if it is the best, and if it isn't, what is the other way to go that I recommend. So loan calculator, small business owners ERC application, invoice template, blog. I can help you with your employee retention credit myself. I have the right specialists if you're looking to get up to 26,000 per employee. And so that's what I'm going to leave it with. Check your eligibility. We can go on for hours on this, but resources are there, the types of financing options. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to voice them for me down below. Fill out this questionnaire that I'll link you to. It could look like this more or less. It might change over time. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with others who you feel will get value out of it. It could be a complete stranger, a friend, a family member, but you help them out with their education, not just getting applied and funded. And if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do so and click that bell notification icon so you do not miss any future content that I will be coming out with on all types of topics, so you have a better idea of what you should be doing. And I'll leave this blog post down below with anything updated as well, because always there's something changing. Now, that'll be all from myself. I will talk to you soon.